Asif said, looking towards his grandfather. We have no other choice. Jabbar said, refusing. I will not allow him to leave this place alive. Then he advanced towards Tagan to kill him, but Asif stood in his way. If you try to kill him, you are trying to kill the northerner, and that is something I will not allow. The army of the emperors lined up behind Jabbar in a clear and explicit declaration of a new war. So Ayub and Princess Ashaz moved, and behind her all the tribes of the Ashaz lined up behind Asif, declaring their full readiness to stand with him. Jabbar said, addressing the princess of the centaurs, will you stand against us, O Ashaz? We owe you nothing, said the princess, then added, but we owe Bahar a lot, and we will not allow anyone, whoever they are, to harm his son. Tara intervened in the middle between the two armies. Will you accept me as a judge? I do not mind, for I trust your wisdom, said Jabbar. And you? She asked, looking toward Asif. He nodded in agreement. She then turned toward Jabbar and said neutrally, you start. Despite his injury, he stepped forward, challenging everyone. Tagan took the throne by treachery and dishonored us for a long time. He murdered many of our family members in cold blood and left us suffering from insecurity and instability for years. It is enough that he made us live in the forest like stray animals, fearing the hunter's trap every day. It is enough that he forced us to dwell underground like insects, afraid of being crushed beneath a boot. He deserves to die without mercy. Then, the emperors behind their leader repeated in unison, he deserves to die without mercy. Tara looked at Asif and said, speak. Asif said, he is Taj's brother, and that alone is reason enough to kill him. Tara asked, so, you want to kill him? Of course I do. Because of him, I grew up without a father, and my mother lived without the husband she loved for a long time. But there is a difference between the things we want and the things we can or cannot do, he added, his gaze shifting evenly across everyone. I want to kill him, but I cannot because if I do, it means I am killing my northern friend. He fixed his gaze on his grandfather, Jabbar, and continued, the agreement was clear from the beginning, grandfather. I would give you the throne in exchange for your participation in the war with me. Today, I give you the kingdom as promised. But as for Tagan, he is mine. I will do with him as I please. Tara fell silent, considering both arguments. They were both right in what they had said. Perhaps Jabbar was closer to the truth. Tagan must die, not just for his past crimes, but to prevent future disasters he might cause in an attempt to reclaim the throne. However, in the end, she sided with the son of her friend Jumana and firmly declared, Jabbar will take the throne, and Asif will do as he pleases with Tagan. Jabbar's expression revealed his disapproval of the decision. Before he could object, Princess Ashaz spoke up. Woe to you, Jabbar. You accepted Tara as the judge. Do you dare defy her ruling? Jabbar echoed Asif's earlier words. There is a difference between the things we want and the things we can or cannot do. Then, before turning to leave, he added, I want to defy the ruling, but I cannot, not out of weakness. Do not go back on my word. Asif looked at Tagan and said, I will grant you your life in exchange for my northern friend. Tagan smirked, his eyes glinting with cunning. Now that is justice, he said. He led them through tunnels, corridors, and secret passageways, constructed for him long ago by witches using highly dangerous spells to kill anyone attempting to pass through them unless they were of royal blood. The pathways were riddled with deadly traps. Finally, Tagan stopped in front of a tiny cell, barely big enough for one person. Inside, a frail young man sat cross-legged in the middle of the space. He wore loose, dirty white clothes, his body showing signs of starvation, thirst, and torture. Yet, despite it all, he remained calm, eyes closed, smiling as if watching a flower bloom. Northern friend, his companions whispered to him. Still smiling with his eyes closed, he responded with something strange. I have found God. King Jabbar's reign did not last long. His health deteriorated to critical levels, and despite summoning the most skilled doctors of the jinn from all corners of the earth, they decided he needed urgent surgery to remove the cursed black spear with a glowing purple tip lodged in his body. At first, the wise man opposed the decision, saying he had read in ancient texts that the spear's magic would only fully activate if it was removed from the victim's body. But the head physician, an elderly jinn named Nur, dismissed him. You humans love to stick your long noses into matters you do not understand. It wasn't the time for an argument, so the wise man turned to Jabbar and pleaded, do not let them remove that spear from your body, please. Nur interjected, this is none of your concern. The king's safety concerns everyone. The wise man retorted without turning to face him. Listen, human, Nur said. No matter what happens, you will never care about the king's safety as much as we do. We are of his kind, while you are not. Your concern is based on self-interest, nothing more. Jabbar turned to the wise man and said weakly, let them do it. I will not live my entire life carrying this spear in my body. We will find another way. Just give us more time, the wise man insisted. Nur scoffed. You mean finding a solution in your useless old books? No, the wise man countered. Among the Ashawa's tribes, they have reached advanced advanced levels of. Jabbar cut him off. They consider themselves outside my rule. I will not ask them for anything. This is no time for pride, the wise man shouted. The head physician frowned. How dare you raise your voice at the king? The wise man turned to Jabbar, trying to reason with him one last time. We have nothing to lose by asking for their help. Feeling insulted, the doctors, along with their leader, said, "We ask your majesty to choose between us and this ignorant human." Jabbar leaned in and whispered to the wise man kindly, "I appreciate your concern, but let them do what they deem necessary." The wise man, overcome with frustration, shouted, "They are fools who know nothing, Jabbar." Jabbar cut him off sharply. "You forget who I am." Lowering his head in apology, the wise man muttered, "I'm sorry. It's fine. Leave and let them proceed." Before departing, the wise man whispered in Nuer's ear, "I will crush you with my boot if anything happens to him." The great emperors were gathered in the council chamber when the chief physician of the jinn, Nawar, arrived to announce that he and his team were about to begin the process of extracting the spear. Minister Kaisarin requested to accompany them, but Nawar assured her that her presence was unnecessary and warned that she might witness things she would later wish she had not seen. "You may be right," Kaisarin said with sorrow. "I wouldn't be able to bear seeing my lord between life and death." "That is precisely what I meant," Nawar responded politely. One of the senior members of the emperor's family, named Burkham, spoke up. "Is there anything we can do to ensure the king's safety?" "Silence, Lord Burkham," Nawar said with a solemn expression. "I ask you and everyone in the palace to maintain complete silence while we carry out our work. We need the utmost concentration and cannot afford any distractions." "I will take care of that," Minister Kaisarin assured him as she turned to leave. "Minister," Nawar called out before she departed. "What is it?" she asked. He spoke sincerely. "Wish us luck." She nodded sadly and replied, "Do your best."